So I want to welcome our special guest, Anne-Marie Molinari, who will be providing our Tech and Tell session on Focus on 3 websites for teachers. Take it away.
Oh, good. Okay, because I was like, where is that ball? And now I have the ball. Okay, so Molly, I'm going to send you a special welcome. Thank you so much for staying on for this webinar. I think that maybe some other people will join us, but we've got to get started so that I can cover everything for you. And I am going to stop whenever you need me to stop. So just keep that in mind and use the chat pod and let Olga and I know. Once I start sharing my screen, I'll be able to see the questions that you post in the chat pod as long as you send them to everyone, as Olga said. So the first thing I want to do is, this is called Focus on 3, resource websites for teachers, and we do have someone else joining us, which is great. And as educators, as adult educators, sometimes it's very, very difficult, at least in my experience, to find resources that you can use with adult learners. So really quickly, Molly, let me know what you teach. I think you've been on other Tech and Tell webinars, but I'm not sure, and I do apologize if you have and I'm not remembering. But what do you teach, Molly? What is your area? Oh, yay! All right, this is awesome. Molly's explaining to me that this is her first one. That jazzes me more than anything. So what do you teach? And just go ahead and let me know in the chat pod. This WebEx platform is I don't know when people are typing. And here comes Anne. Welcome, Anne. We're just starting, so welcome to Tech and Tell, Focus on 3 resource websites for teachers. And I'm Anne-Marie Molinari. So I asked both of you, Molly and Anne, I'd like you to tell me, okay, awesome. All right, wow, and you were a music teacher. Anne, if you can let me know what you teach in the chat pod, that would be great. And one thing I did forget to do, that I forgot to do last night that I think is important just for credibility's sake. I am a professional development specialist, obviously, but I spent the majority of my almost 18 years now in adult education as a teacher and a trainer, but mostly as a teacher. I was in the classroom for 11 years as an ABE teacher and a GED teacher, and also high school equivalency in California. And then in Texas, I went back to K through 12 for a while, for a couple of years, and I was a special education teacher and a caseworker, and I worked in middle school, well, actually 6th grade and high school. So, and I have my master's in special ed. So I come to you with this presentation today very, very aware of the challenges that our adult education students face. So here we go. All right. And Anne, when you have a chance, just let me know what you teach. And this is our objectives today. Our objectives today are to discuss 3 instructional resource websites for teachers. And I learned about these websites outside of adult education, which I thought was very interesting. We're going to introduce and review the critical components of each website. We're not going to go through every single feature on the website, but I'm going to try to show you what I think is most important, because I've spent many, many hours on these websites looking for things. And then 3, explore the website resources for deeper understanding. We're going to do that as well. And you're going to hopefully do some exploration, or I'm going to show you where to explore. So let's do a little bit of background. In teaching, there's something called an anticipatory set, and I'm modeling this for you in this presentation. And an anticipatory set really sets the stage for why we're going to do what we're going to do. And it activates prior knowledge, or that's what I'm trying to do. And pedagogy are the principles and methods of instruction. But I see that Molly has got a background as an English teacher, and And pedagogy, really we relate that to K through 12 most of the time, and andragogy relates to teaching of adults. But pedagogy, crosses all ages. So where I'm going to take you today are primarily K through 12 instructional resource sites. But there is nothing, or let me say this, the resources can be used with adult students. And that's what I want you to take away. Yes, you may see pictures of little ones, but every resource has got a pedagogical foundation. So we're going to learn about these strategies that can be applied to adults. We're not going to be looking at babyish books or kiddie things like that, but we are going to be looking at these instructional strategies that are used in K through 12 all the time, but are applicable to adult education. And when I went back to K through 12, I got to know all these resources, and I kept saying again and again, wow, we need to use these for adult education. And I knew that I wanted to come back to adult ed after spending some time in K through 12. I missed adult ed way too much, so I came back. So I just want to share this with you. A strong pedagogical foundation is critical for teaching adults effectively, especially when we have such a wide range of needs. We have ELL learners in our classes, and we also have students that there's a high probability that they may have a learning disability or even a physical disability. So this is why this is important. So here's my first question to you both, Anne and Molly. This is my question. We're going to start with two questions. When visiting a teacher-based website, which resources are you trying to find? And I want to spend 1 minute only on this, please. So if you can type in the chat pod for me, what are you looking for when you go out on a teacher-based website? Okay, grammar usage. Interesting. Okay. Okay. All right. What else, Anne? Anything else? And Anne, if you can respond to everybody, that would be good so that I can see it. Wonderful. Okay, Molly, we're going to be able to help you with that one. Definitely. Definitely going to be able to help you with that one. I'm really excited to show you some things. Okay, and Nathan is joining us. All right, so anything else, Anne, before we continue besides grammar? Are any of you interested in either one of you interested in short articles that you can read? So last night, for instance, one of our participants was struggling with students with behavioral issues that she knew also had learning disabilities. And I was able to point her to some articles. So are you guys interested in short articles possibly? Okay, good. Yes. Short articles. Okay, good. All right. So here's our next question. If I can turn this pages here. Think about your own teaching practice. What instructional areas would you like to strengthen? What areas would you like to strengthen or possibly even improve? Because we're going to be going to websites where the goal is also to help you become a better teacher with these short articles. Very good, very good. Keeping students focused on the skill, very important, but very difficult in a multi-level class. It's very difficult sometimes to keep them engaged. All right, so we're going to get going. We have more people joining us, but we're going to go ahead and move forward for those of us that were able to start on time. And so let's take a look at the first one. Now, the first website is called Read, Think, and Write. And I will do, thank you. Okay, good, very good. Thank you, Molly. Molly says, be able to teach effectively to their strong learning abilities, which is their learning preferences, right? Whether it be kinesthetic, oral, students learn differently. So we have to know how to address all of those. So that's excellent. So the first website is called Read, Think, Write. And I will be telling you that And you know what? I'm sorry, I'm handling a technical issue here. Olga, can you please email Robin Booth? Do you have Robin Booth's email address?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay, can you email her, please, and tell her that she needs to go through the PD portal?
Okay, I will.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, sorry, everybody. Multitasking. Website one, Read, Think, and Write, is the first website, and this is endorsed and has a partnership with the International Literacy Association and the National Council of Teachers of English and Verizon Wireless. So this is a website that will help with literacy skills, not mathematics, but literacy skills. But I think some of the activities could certainly be used with math word problems, but you'll have to think about that. But this is for all the components of literacy as well as writing and grammar. So there are some things that you can use for that. Now you'll see on my screen right here that I'm pointing you, it's circled in yellow for classroom resources, professional development, and videos. And we're going to focus on the classroom resources today, but we're also going to look at the professional development that I think is also very important. And so let's go ahead and let's turn the page. And I lost Molly's audio, so hopefully Molly will come back. And Anne, you're the only one that can hear me right now. So if you have a question, put it in the chat pod for me, and I'll address it for you. So the first thing on the Read, Think, Write website is the Classroom Resources tab. And we're going to look at these different things. But what's important are these right here. We're going to look at the student interactives. Then we're going to look at the printouts. And then we're going to look at lesson plans. So these are critical. So student interactives, printouts, lesson plans, there are mobile apps, and then calendar activities really just focuses on things that are happening nationally, African American History Month, National Women's History Month, different celebrations that may have to do with history, etc. So that's kind of just a fun area. But we're not going to focus on that as much. We're going to focus on student interactives, printouts, then lesson plans. And welcome, Sunjin. Welcome. And the good thing about these classroom resources is that they can be filtered. And if you look here, you can see that they can be filtered by grade level, and you'll be able to see this in a minute. By grade level, resource type, learning objective, and theme. And then there's more. And then the best part is these all can be filtered by grade level. So I asked this question last night. So Sunjin and Anne, if you can help me answer this question. Why would you want materials to be available for grade level? Why would that apply to adults? Why do you think that's important? Why do you think it's important to have grade level materials when you're teaching in adult education? And go ahead and write your answers in the chat pod for me. Oh, wow. Okay, good. Very good. To meet the adult needs. That's right. Because on a TABE test, right, if they're low intermediate, that's about a 4th to 6th grade reading level, around there somewhere. So you also may know by other assessments that you've given in class the reading level that they have. What are some other reasons? What are some other reasons why we want to know, we want to be able to be flexible with grade level? Any other points about why we want to focus on grade level? Okay. All right, so we're going to keep going because I don't see that there's other, here we go. We have multi-level students in the same class, exactly. So you want to be able to give one group of students a reading passage at one level, and then you want to be able to give students another that is at a higher level, another resource. So you've got to be thinking about that multi-level. And yes, and to know some background experience, very good. That's a very good point, Anne. Thank you for that. All right, so we are going to go out to the website now, and Olga, who is hosting for me today, thank you so much, has put the website link in the chat pod for you, readwritethink.org, okay? So go ahead, and if you want to follow along with me, I highly recommend that you follow along with me, and we both did it at the same time. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to share my screen, and I want you to stop me if you have a question, okay? So here we are on the Read, Write, Think home page. And the first thing that I want to draw your attention to is the classroom resources. Now you can expand your screen if you can't see my screen as well by hitting that plus or minus in the top hand corner of your screen. But I'm going to enlarge my screen a little bit so that you can see it. Okay, that may be a little bit too big. So we're going to go to classroom resources, and the first thing I want to visit is the student interactives, because these are so cool. And you are going to be able to do a bunch of different things with these. And we're gonna use the search resources in a minute, but I just want to show you a couple of these first. Now, ideally, you're going to want to use the student interactives in a computer lab, or have the students have access to a computer lab, because they're going to be doing this with a keyboard. You know, they're going to have to use a keyboard. So the first one I want to show you is a Venn diagram, an interactive Venn diagram. But we have all of these different student interactives. And you can scroll down. Look at all these different interactives. Look at this. And there's 3 pages of them. So these are all free. These are all free to use. But I want to show you the Venn diagram, because we look at this. Here's the Venn diagram, which you can use for writing, for reading, and reading, okay? Brainstorming for an essay. Also looking at critical thinking concepts if they're reading something about history. You may even be able to use it with math if you're trying to get them to pull out key terms. So you need a flash player. That is one thing you're going to need. But you could also do this on a computer in the front of the room with your students. If all of your students don't have this, you can have them participate with you. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to click on this. And you can see this Venn diagram, so I'm going to put in my name. I'm just going to put Anne Marie for the sake of time. And my project title is going to be Fish and Whales, okay? Because I'm going to compare and contrast the different features. So I'm going to start. Now, you can save this anytime. You can print it out, and you can always start over. These plus or minus things are going to be what I'm going to put in the circles. So I'm going to put fish, and I want a large one, and I'm going to add it, and I'm going to put it up here. Look at how cool that is. And then I'm going to add another one. I'm going to put a new item, and I'm going to put whales. Oops, it would help if I did it right. Whales. I'm going to do another large. I'm going to click, and I'm going to put whales over here. So you could have this up on the screen with students, and they could help you. This would be great for ESL learners if they need to practice their English skills. This would probably also work for grammar. So if I want to finish, I want to save it. It's going to allow me to save it on my computer. It's going to show me that I can save it on my computer, but I'm going to cancel. And I can also send it to somebody, so they could send it to you as well. So students could do this for homework, couldn't they? They could do this for homework, and then you could talk about it the next day. How cool is that? All right? So we're going to X out. It's going to tell me that I'm going to lose everything, which is fine. So that's the first one I wanted to show you. All right? So we're going to go, let me see. Now, if you scroll down, not only is it going to give you the resource, but it is going to give you all the different ways that you can use it. And here are your grade levels that I talked about a little bit earlier. So you can click on which grade level you want. All right? So we probably want to stay 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. But for the IET courses, there may be some things that you can use here too. So we're going to scroll down, and I can't scroll down and annotate at the same time. So you can see here that there's all these different lesson plans that you can choose from. But I want to go back, and I want to show you another one that I thought was wonderful. And this is a persuasive map. So I'm going to see all, and this would be good for writing. So it's alphabetical. These are all alphabetical. So I have to go to P's, and here's the persuasive map. And again, I'm going to get started, and this is going to help with the writing. And I'm going to name my title, my name, AM, my title, Heroes. Okay? And I'm going to get started. And then it's going to ask me what my thesis is, my reasons. How cool is that? Now, what could you use this? How could you use this, Anne, for homework? If they're working on the GED exam, isn't this cool? It's very cool, isn't it? And then look at facts or examples for reason 2, and it goes on and on. And they can type it in, and then they can send it to you. So you can do like a flip the classroom model where you can have them work on it for homework and then talk about it the next day. So that's another one, a visual way to organize, exactly right. And guess what? For your ELL students, for your English language learners, and your students with learning disabilities, this is critical. This is critical, especially for students who do not process auditory information very well. They need to see it visually. So this is an excellent tool for that. So I'm going to X out of there. So I wanted to show you that one. I like getting in groups to work it before homework. Yes. So have them brainstorm all the different areas for heroes, have them do it for homework, and then have them come back and discuss it again. These are also really good for vocabulary development. All right, so we need to move on. We're at the 30-minute mark already. I can't believe this. So let's look at printouts. Now, printouts are good printouts are hard to find, and if you're like me, I've had to go to many different websites to find many different things. Well, there's a ton of them here, and they're all free. So you can see all the graphic organizers, and there's all these different ones again. Alphabet chart, character map, compare and contrast. And I want to show you one that I got very excited about, the KWL chart. You can use that a lot. And let me see here if I can find it. Here we go. Now the reason I like this is because it's very user-friendly. And again, look what you can do. The student can type their name and the date, and then it's an interactive field, so they can type in it. And the question was asked last night by Olga, can you download it and you can save it? Yes. It's an interactive PDF that you can download and save. So again, you can model this with your students, and then you can print these out and have them work in groups or whatever you need. And there's many, many different printouts. If you scroll down, it tells you how you would use this. How are you going to use a KW chart? Student, so it shows you the different things that you can do. Okay? Right. Critical perspective, reading and writing about slavery, using word stems. Now look at this. Now this is grades 3 through 5, but you could definitely use this with your students, okay? And it shows you all these different things for that, okay? Now, the last thing I want to show you is I want to go back to the main page, and I want to show you these search filters. So you have these search filters. So if I want to look at 6th grade, there's 947 resources. But I don't want to look at 947 resources. So I may want to look just at student interactives. So I'm going to click on student interactives. And then I may want to, and look at all the different things that you can do, save, email, audio. But I want to do, and I'm sorry, and my alarm is going off. Okay, apologize everybody. So I want to look at all these different learning objectives. So I see that I really want to look at comprehension, so there's 13 of them. So now I've narrowed it down, and then I have all these different things, okay? So yes, do you have to spend a little bit of time exploring? Yes, but at least it's all in one place. Finally, I want to look at professional development, and I want to look at the strategy guides. Now, some of you said that you wanted to get a little better at different things, learn about evidence-based strategies, inform your instruction, help you become a stronger teacher. I never forget that I have to learn something every single day. So even though I've been doing this a long time, I always remember that I can get better. And I always want to get better for the students and for all of you. I can't do this unless I'm updating my skills all the time. So it's good to know research from 20 years ago, but it's better to know research from 3 to 5 years ago. That's, cutting edge. So the strategy guides are going to help inform your practice. And one thing that was excellent on here is developing academic vocabulary. This is a good one. So you can see that there are using generative sentences to apply academic vocabulary. So you scroll down and it tells you the strategy, and it gives you the strategy in practice. So it's very short, and you can read about it. And then there are the lesson plans that use this. And I was looking at this for vocabulary, the vocabulary lesson plans, and you could use all of these for our adult education students. So if you wanted to hone in on anything, it would be probably the vocabulary, and all of the vocabulary resources are here. All right. And I think that's where I want to stop here, because I showed you this website. I want to stop sharing. And before we move on, I want to see if there's any questions. There are any questions about that first website? The homework that I would like you to do is to go to that website and find something and then show me how you're going to use it. And we'll talk about that toward the end. I don't think there's any questions. Any questions, Olga, that came in privately or no?
No, no questions at present.
Okay. All right, and Molly's back. Awesome, Molly. I know you lost audio, but you're back, so that's good. Okay. Now the next one is website number 2, and it's adolescent literacy. Now, I want to go back to the beginning when we talked about why I'm showing K through 12 resources. Adolescent literacy focuses on that critical time of adolescence. So we're talking about middle school, high school. So this website is devoted to helping teachers with that critical area. And the reason this website was developed, and this is why it's germane to all of us as adult educators, is that research tells us that if students by 3rd grade are not reading at grade level, they are going to fall behind 2 to 3 grade levels after that. So if I am teaching a high school student, or I have a high school student that's recently dropped out of high school and is now re-enrolled in adult education, and I see that they're struggling, that there's a reason for that. Because the farther they go in school, the less likely they are to catch up with their reading skills. So in my experience as an adult basic education teacher, it was not uncommon for me to have adults come into my classroom with a third grade reading level. A lot of these students also had a learning disability. So what does that say about our instruction? Let me ask you that in the chat pod. What does that tell us about our instruction and what we need to focus on with our students? What does that tell us? What do we really need to watch for and be really focused on helping? Molly, yes. And if we know that the students may be behind in reading, we've got to be able to help them with what? What do we need to be able to help them with? Please go ahead and write your ideas, and Anne too. What do we need to be able to help them with? Go ahead, and I'm going to keep going, and then as the things come in. So basically, yes, developing their reading skills. Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you. Okay, identifying which skills they need in the components of literacy. Okay, because this is what this website is going to help you do. And what we're going to look at is classroom strategies. So we're going to focus on this tab called Classroom Strategies and Hot Topics. Yes, yes, Molly, guess what? This is covered on that website. That's what I'm trying to explain. Students in adult education often struggle with the skills at this grade level. That is why adolescentliteracy.org is a critical resource for all of you to look at, because also our ELL learners are also going to benefit from the classroom strategies I'm going to share with you, okay? And the reason why is many of our students come to class with skills right here, okay? That's the connection I was trying to make. Very good. So let's go on. And, the other thing I want to call your attention to, which I did not last night, was this has got a newsletter. And you can subscribe to several different newsletters, which I do, and it gives you information and strategies, and you can decide if you wanted to come once a week or once a month, and there's always great stuff, and it's not hard to read, okay? All right, so let's go on. Now we're gonna focus on the Classroom Strategies tab because it talks about direct, explicit instruction for vocabulary comprehension and writing. So the writing component is there. And Anne wanted to know about strategies for grammar, and that is one of the hot topics that we can look at, grammar and mechanics. And then it provides a library of strategies for before, during, and after activities. So there's a whole library of downloadable templates again and ideas for how to use them. So that's why we're going to look at this website. And now we're going to go out. So Olga did put the website in the chat pod, www.adlit.org, adlit.org. So we're going to go there now. Now, I do have it open to our education and literacy newsletter, and I want to show you what you can do. You just put in your email address, and there are a couple other websites that we're not going to look at, but they're also all part of the family. Adlit, Word Up, Reading Rockets. We are going to look at an LD website, and Growing Readers, and you can subscribe, and I highly recommend you do that. But let's go out to the front page, and we're going to focus on the areas of classroom strategies, okay? So I'm going to click here, and we're going to go to Classroom Strategies because I'm excited to show you this one. So I'm going to click on Classroom Strategies, and I'm going to enlarge my screen just a little bit so you can see it a little bit more. Remember, you can enlarge your screen if you need to. Now, this is to help with before you do an activity, during an activity, and after an activity. So these are all graphic organizers. Now, the reason I like this is because it is a Word document. So if you don't like something, you can download the Word document and change it. And it's not copyright restricted because it's for educational usage. So you don't have to worry about that. I think so, Olga. Let's look. I think there is. Yep, we can look at that. Don't let me forget, Olga, okay? Olga asked if there is a section for phonics, and I believe there is. So the first thing, I want to scroll down and I want to show you before reading. These are some of the things that you can do to help students before reading. Anticipation guide, collaborative strategic reading learning logs, concept sorts. Now let's just look at that. There's nothing downloadable, but I want to show you something. So if you use this strategy, it explains to you what you're doing and why. And then it goes down and it shows you a concept sort. So that's a little bit of a short one, but it gives you an idea on how to use it. But let's go back and find one with an actual PDF. So the next thing is possible sentences. I love this one. And this one you can use before reading, but I argue that it also can be used during reading and definitely after reading. But it says that it's not, but that's okay. You can decide how you want to use these things. So let's look at the document for possible sentences. And it's downloaded it as a Word document, so I'm going to open it up. And you see it's coming up slowly. And I'm going to enable editing so that you can see it. And it has a place for the name. And then it shows you how you're going to use it. So if you don't like this, you can change it if you want. But you've been able to download it and save it. So I wanted to show you that one. And then during reading, they have concept maps, double entry journals, inquiry chart, jigsaw, all these different things that you can use. But I like this because it teaches you a strategy really quick that you may not know about. Okay? Word hunts after reading. How many of you are familiar with exit tickets? This is something that you should be using in your classroom if you're not already. Exit slips are a very good way to determine whether or not a key concept that you've been teaching is getting across to your students. And these you can modify, and then you can cut them out and give them to your students and have them fill them out. And then when they leave their classroom, they need to explain the exit ticket to you. Write one thing you learned today. They're going to write it down for you, but they're also going to verbally tell you when they leave the classroom. This is a very good way to see if your students are learning not every concept, but a key concept. So if you were teaching reducing fractions that day, ask them to give you a specific answer on something. Rate your understanding of today's topic on a scale of 1 to 10. Well, if the students say, I didn't get any of it, I'm still very confused, what does that tell you about what you're going to need to do tomorrow as a teacher? And sometimes this can help you reflect on your own teaching because maybe you have to tweak something that you're doing. So I wanted to share that one. Okay, so these are the downloadable classroom strategies. So let's look at hot topics. Olga asked about phonics, and I think somebody asked about mechanics. I think that was Anne. So look at this list. Look at this list. So does phonics come up here? Phonics does not come up here, but we can Google it. Let's Google phonics real quick.
It's there.
It is there. Did I not see it?
Yes,
Oh
under
my
parent
gosh.
tips. Phonics,
All right.
word study, and decoding.
Okay, here we go. So let's look at that one. Thank you. I don't know why I didn't see that. Oh my goodness. All right, so this will give you quick articles. Roots, words, roots, and affixes. Okay? And look at this. Download a copy. So it gives you the root words, roots, and affixes. Roots and affixes are very good to use with ELL learners as well as low intermediate ABE learners, because this can lead to vocabulary exercises, which can lead to sentence development, which can lead to comprehension, improved comprehension. So this article gives you this. Download a copy of the Common Greek Roots, affixes, download a copy of that, and it shows you where it came from. Okay? 2008. Okay? Inside this article. All right, so let's go back. And phonics instruction for middle and high school ELLs. This would be fine for adult learners. Okay? Let's just take a look and see what it says. Challenges. Okay? This is a great one. And it gives you a little background. Then it tells you the challenges. Unfamiliar. Okay, there we go. Age-appropriate instructional materials and strategies. Yep. Older adult students want to engage in activities requiring the use of higher order. All right. And it seems like it's long, but it's not that long. I've seen longer articles. So let me see in the chat pod, is this something that you think that you would be willing to use and read quickly? Something that you would go to? Let me know in the chat pod. Okay. Yay, Anne. Thank you. Yay. Okay. I'm counting on you guys to tell me what you think as we go through here. All right. So I want to go back to another hot topic. So let's go back to just hot topics. Now, another big difficulty, and there is a whole section on English language learners, by the way, I wanted to show you. And extra support. There was one, look at this. We did look at phonics instruction, but there was another one that was a very good one, and that was on ELL learners' communication strategies. Pre-reading activities for ELLs is a very good one. Communication strategies for all classrooms, focusing on English language learners and students with learning disabilities. Let me say this, and this is my master's degree talking right now. If you are using strategies that help ELL learners, you are also using strategies that will help students with learning disabilities and vice versa. So you are hitting two different populations if you use those strategies. And yep, there was one for college readiness. That's exactly right, and we can look at that one. So this is not a long article at all, but it helps confirm what you probably are all already doing with your students, accessing students' background knowledge in an ELL classroom. So if you read an article and you find strategies that you're going to use, now you have two websites to go back and find the resources you need. That's why focus on three. Focus on three. That's why I called it that. All right, so there is a whole area on Ready for College, and you can look at that. It does talk about early college awareness. A lot of these things will help the adult education students as well. And let me see, one other thing, for teachers. They have some wonderful ones here that come up right away. Cognitive Strategies Toolkit, I was going to really look at this. Now, this is quick. This is what you need to do to improve cognitive strategies and help cognitive strategies for your students. It's right here. It's not that long. Sentence starters, cognitive strategy, sentence starters. Okay, and Olga's reminding me that I have 9 minutes, so I'm going to stop and go back, and we may go 5 minutes over. Is that okay with everybody? I'm going to need 5 minutes. Yep. Sunjin, that's exactly right. That is exactly right, Sunjin. That's a vocabulary issue, okay? They read, they have a hard time to understand behind the words, even though they can read well. There could be a couple different things going on there. They may be reading incredibly slowly, which is going to fluency impacts comprehension. So by the time they're done, but if you're telling me that they read very well, then I would say it may be a vocabulary issue, which is also going to affect comprehension. See, they all work together to create a profile, which is going to affect the student. Yep. All right, so that was adolescent literacy. So the last one we want to look at is near and dear to my heart. And this doesn't have the worksheets and all of these different things, but it does give you some very good, hands-on, quick, down and dirty, down and direct information about students with learning disabilities, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder. And let me just say this. ADHD, hyperactivity, and I just completely forgot what I was going to say. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is not a learning disability. It's a completely different thing that requires a medical diagnosis from a psychiatrist, which is a medical doctor or a regular doctor, and these students can be prescribed meds. But what you will see is students with learning disabilities often have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder as well. So you're challenged with the learning disability as well as the behavioral issues caused by the hyperactivity disorder. So it doesn't always work together, but sometimes it does. I saw it a lot when I was teaching in K-12. All right, so what does this website have? What I want to draw your attention to here is the LD basics and the ADHD basics and the questions and the answers. And then if you come down here to LD topics, there's a whole bunch of different categories. Dyscalculia, which is the mathematical disability. Dysgraphia, which is the writing disability. It talks about dyslexia, but it's not a 50-page paper that you have to write. You have to read, right? So we're going to go look at that in a minute. Let me see here. So where we want to focus here is the Getting Started tab, the LD basics, the ADHD basics, and the questions and the answers, and then LD topics tab. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go to that website now. Okay. Share my screen. And then we'll stop for questions. Now, this is a sister site to adolescent literacy. There's a whole bunch of sites that are funded through the Carnegie Corporation and Online Broadcasting, PBS. And this is one of them, and it's through WETA. So LD Basics is right here. And it's going to give you a very direct, this is what learning disabilities are. These are the common signs, how to respond, how to get help for more information. Okay? Questions and answers is a really, really, really good area to look at. As far as modifications and accommodations, that is another TechIntel that I hope this coming year I will be able to also provide for you. But accommodations and modifications changed at in adult education in college, okay? Students have to self-disclose that they have a learning disability, and then we have to get into all of the legal ramifications of that, which we won't talk about now. But it will kind of give you an idea. And then it also, if you scroll down, it will show you the different things that you may want to look for. Nonverbal learning disability. This is a student who may not be able to communicate very well. They're nonverbal. They cannot communicate orally at all. Reading and dyslexia, processing deficits, all these different things. Okay, so let me stop annotating here. And let's see here. Let's go to LD topics. That's where I want to go real quickly. Now, adults with LD. Okay, now there's something interesting about adults with LD. If a student has learning disabilities, they're holding down a job possibly, or they want to go back to school to improve their skills, but they may not self-disclose. But if you see certain signs, you can help them without telling them, I think you have a learning disability, because legally you cannot do that. As an instructor, unless you are licensed as a licensed psychologist or a licensed professional at the community college level that is licensed to tell students that they have a learning disability, legally that can be a real slippery slope. But what you can do is watch the student and then provide the resources to help that student. So you're kind of an investigator. They're going to present the pieces of the puzzle for you, and you're going to try to put together a profile to help that student. Now, a student may come to you and say, I'm getting vocational rehabilitation services. I have a learning disability, and I need help with this, this, and this. And then that opens the door to really start helping that student with what they need. Okay, so all the different topics here. Classroom management. Sometimes students with learning disabilities can be very disruptive, and it talks about some of the things that you can do to help that student. One of the teachers last night said, I have a student that has a learning disability but is also behavior issues in class. So we went over some of the things that she could do to help that student. Okay. So this is more of an informed, a website just for your information that you can go to and look at. But I wanted to share this one with you as well. Okay, so let's go back and let's see if there's any questions. So we're going to pause here. We're at the 12:30 mark, so I want to show you what your homework was and quickly kind of think about how you would use these resources. So are there any questions? Think about the questions you have. I'm going to ask this question. Which website do you think you're going to use the most and why? That's interesting, Olga. That's interesting. Yep. Okay, so I want to go back to the question to this one. Anne, why will it be hard to find the time to investigate the websites? Because it's so much good resources? Is that why? I'm interested. Okay, well, I have an idea for you. I'm going to make it easy for you, okay? I already thought about that. And I knew that was going to be a struggle with showing you 3 of them. But I've got an answer to that. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share what I want you to do. Okay? And Olga was nice enough, and I'm going to give you the link to what it is, too. So let's go here. All right? And before we talk about this assignment, I want to share with you where all of these resources are going to be. The PowerPoint, this homework assignment, this website exploration practice assignment is going to be in the PD portal in the Tech and Tell community of practice. So I want you to focus on readwritethink.org. Because for what we need to do as adult educators, I think that there is more. I think there is more good stuff right there, and then maybe you can set a goal and to look at adolescentliteracy.org later on. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go to readwritethink.org, and I want you to visit the Classroom Resources tab. So let's go back, because I know it's been 40 minutes ago that we looked at that one. And let's go to the front page, and here's your Classroom Resources. Oh, and I'm not sharing my screen, so hold on. You can't see where I am because you can't see my screen. Okay, so here's the Classroom Resources, and I want you to focus on the student interactives or the printouts that you will use. And think about how you will use those in your instruction, and then you're going to share it on this Google Doc. And that's the bit.ly link. So if you have a Gmail, I'd like you to put it in this document because people are sharing already. And so on this document, please share the resource you found and explain how you will use it during classroom instruction. Okay?
I've pasted these instructions in the chat pod also if you want to copy those for now. But they will be placed in the community of practice.
Okay, so that is how I want you to use that document. So let's go back here. So, Anne, did that help a little bit? Okay, good. I mean, I'm reading from up above. Did that help a little bit more, Anne? I don't want to answer for you. I'm sorry. Okay, good. Now, so I want to spend 2 minutes, and I want you to, did you see, let's take, if we might as well go over 5 minutes. Why don't you go look and investigate what I want you to do right now. Let's take 5 minutes, and let's go look at Read, Write, Think, and I want you to click on Student Interactive, and I want you to look around. Maybe start with the Venn diagram. Let's look at the Venn diagram, organizing and summarizing. There's your essay map right here. You could look at that. And just look around for a minute and see if you see something. Play around with the search resources. Try to hone in and see what you can find. So let's take 3 minutes starting now. It's 12:34. And let's take a couple minutes and look around and then come back. Yep, click on the most popular tab. That's exactly right, yes. Or the See All tab. And let me show you real quick. Don't forget to look at this. You see this? The See All. That'll bring up everything, okay? That'll bring up everything. I'm going to stop annotating and See All. So I'm going to click on all of them. And then once you have all of them, you can go over here and refine your search. You can filter your search by grade level and what you want to do. Okay, so let's take 3 minutes and just look around. So it's 12:35, and let's come back at 12:38, and then we'll close out. And thank you for everyone hanging in here. And I'm just going to leave my website open, and if there's questions, Olga, let me know, okay? Because I'm still sharing my screen.
Okay.
And I'm going to mute myself for a minute. And if you don't have your whole ideas, if you just want to jot down on the Google Doc just some ideas, you can do that as well, so I can see that people are practicing with that. Because that's a really good strategy to use with your students too. Create a Google Doc, and they can all work on the Google Doc together. Okay, so what did you guys find anything, or did you start to look around? What did you see? What did you see? Anything that people would like to share before we close out? Oh, very good. Literacy analysis, yes. And it's interesting that you bring that up, Anne. Thank you for that. Because one thing I have not touched on is the new Texas Adult Education and Literacy Standards. And that training is about to roll out. So that training, key people from each one of your programs will probably be bringing information. And literary analysis is one of the content standards because they want students to understand literary analysis across genres because of college readiness, for college readiness. So that again is why these sites are so good because K through 12, the TEKS, the Texas Education and Knowledge and Skills, is full of literary analysis for the grade levels. Yep, exactly. That's good. Yep, Molly, visual is very good. And I like the ideas that we came up today about having them start in class and then working on it as in homework and then separating them out in groups. Remember that these don't have to be one-time lessons. If you're teaching literary analysis, you can expand that literary analysis over a week or two with different lessons, with different strategies, with different tools. Same with vocabulary development. You introduce the word, you practice with the word, they have independent practice with the word, and then there's some type of assessment. And all of those different things, there are tools on these websites that can help you with that. Okay, Sunjin, what did you find? Yep, very good. Very good, Olga. Thank you. That's exactly right. That's another reason why you may have one student using the interactive map on the computer with his headphones. You may have a small group over in the corner discussing, and you may have one student that because of learning preferences, this young woman may want to work by herself. So, exactly right. Okay, so it is 10 minutes after, and I would just like to close, and then I'll hand it back to Olga. I just
well, Anne-Marie,
oh yes,
we had
a question.
Molly asked privately. She said, "Have you ever seen a free SRA type program where the students work at their own pace but are improving as they go from level to level?"
Silent reading. That's what you mean, silent reading level? You're
but
talking
like a
about
free
reading
SRA,
levels.
right, like a free program.
Yes, and we're going to put it in the chat pod. It's not exactly what you're looking for, but you can assign, and they can move up for level. And it actually is a Tech and Tell webinar in the PD portal, Molly, but it's called Digital ReadWorks. And it is grade level passages by grade level, and it's wonderful. And it will read the passages to the students per grade level, and it's got worksheets and activities, worksheets and assessments. And you can assign the different levels for them, and then they can if you feel that they're getting better after each assessment, then you can assign them a different level, and it's completely free.
Anne-Marie, did you want to go to the Tech and Tell community of practice to show where they can access this information?
Let's see if everybody knows. Let's see if everybody knows that, and let's put this up real quick so she can grab it. Hold on a minute, Molly. Olga, can you ask everybody to say whether they have been to the Tech and Tell community of practice?
Okay, so has everyone been to the Tech and Tell community of practice in the professional development PD portal? That's where you sign in to register for. Anne says no, she's not.
Okay, so let's do that, and then
if you don't mind, we'll take you there.
And then we'll close out. And this is okay. All right, we'll do that now. Let me sign in real quick here. And then I put the digital ReadWorks in there. Okay, again, K through 12 resource, but the reading passages are very adult oriented and are all grade leveled, and it's amazing. Okay? It's absolutely amazing. And I've done 2 different Tech and Tells on that resource. Okay? K through 12 has a lot of resources to offer adult education if we look at it from the perspective of pedagogy and not the fact that it's kids. Okay? All right, so let's go to the
Share your
PD
screen.
portal. Yeah, oh wait, hold on a minute. I got to bring it up first. I have got to clear out some of this stuff so my computer doesn't lock on me. All right, guys, we'll be there. I'm coming in just a minute. Let me just bring it up here. Go to the PD portal. Okay. All right, let me share my screen. I'm just impressed that you guys want to stay on. Thank you so much for that. And that you want to learn. Okay, here we go, Sharon. My screen. Okay, so once you log into the PD portal, you had to log into the PD portal to access this Tech Intel, didn't you? Because you had to register, then you had to go to your transcript, and then you had to launch the webinar. So I'm very impressed that you were able to do that. But now we're going to go to this big orange button right here that says Connect Communities, all right? And if you're familiar with Facebook, you know that you can join different websites to follow. So this is very much the same thing. Not all of these communities are going to come up for you, only the ones that are open, because some of these have to do with the trainers, so that's why. But you're going to scroll down, and you're going to look for Tech Intel Community of Practice. And here it is right here, okay? And we have 99 members. And I am the moderator of this community of practice. So it's my responsibility to post and upload and communicate with all of you. I am also the moderator for the Adult Education and Literacy Instruction Community of Practice, which you'll want to join as well. All right, so I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to show you that there's an option button over here. There's an option button, okay? Click on the option button, and you're going to see that you have the option to follow the community. I'm already following it. That's why it says unfollow. I don't want to unfollow it. I want to follow it. And then you're going to go to the tab that says topics, okay? You're going to go to the top. You're going to go to the tab that says topics right here. And you're going to click on topics. Now I'm going to create a folder that says focus on 3 resource websites for teachers. And inside this folder, you're going to find the PowerPoint presentation, the homework assignment, and I'll put the website links again, but I think everybody has those. And you can see here, there's one down here called, where is it?
Can you do a search in here? Like go back up and do right here and do a search within this. See right here, search the community.
I think it may not be in here because I don't think I put it in there for accessibility. But we did do a Tech Intel on text evidence and digital ReadWorks. I think I may have to do another Tech Intel on that. I really do. But if you click on here, you will see all of the resources. So let's look here. And websites for vocabulary instruction, strengthening students' vocabulary muscles. Here is the actual PowerPoint that I did that goes with a webinar that you can watch inside the PD portal. So if you didn't have the opportunity to go to the live version, guess what? You can watch it, and then all of the resources are here for you. So that's where all of your resources will be. So again, you're going to click on topics, and you're going to see all these folders. So I'm going to create a folder that says focus on 3 resource websites for teachers, and everything will be in there. Okay. And let me see here. Let's go back out to communities. And the other community that you want to follow that's very, very active is the Adult Education and Literacy Community of Practice. There's 99 members, and I am very active. People are very, very active in this. And I'm constantly posting things in here for you. Articles, strategies, all different types of things. So I would love it if you shared that as So before we leave, let's go back to home and see if there's any questions. Are there questions before we close out? Mm. Is the ReadWorks available for them to sign up for? Olga, do you mean the Tech Intel? Is that what you mean? Uh-huh. It's here, but it's not called ReadWorks. Let's look here. Let's look for Tech Intels. Now, you see where it says search for training? Because, Molly, this is one that you're going to want to watch. We're going to scroll down, Tech and Tell, and then we'll get going so we can all eat lunch. Let's search. So these are going to bring up all the Tech Intels. Okay, and the one that you are looking for is got books next to it. Okay, you want to look for the one that has the books next to it because that's the online course. So let's keep going. There's building students' vocabulary skills. Here we go. Text evidence. Okay, there we go. This one is going to talk about ReadWorks. Okay, ReadWorks is going to talk, but I think what I will do is another Tech Intel on ReadWorks in the fall when we start the new semester because we need another Tech Intel on ReadWorks, definitely. This one was a part 2, so we'll have a part 1 and a part 2. And there's a regular ReadWorks where you can download the worksheets and they can work on them the old-fashioned way, or the digital ReadWorks allows them to hear it and respond on the computer. Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see if there's any other last-minute questions. And you guys have been amazing. We went 20 minutes over. Is utmost on my mind was that this was helpful today and that you took something away from Focus on 3. Oh, you're so sweet, Molly. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to give special thanks to our presenter, Anne Marie, for being with us this morning. And I want to thank you all, Anne, Molly, and Sunjin, for joining us on this webinar and for sticking with us and hearing all the information that Anne Marie had to provide. And yes, she was excellent with all this great information. So we look forward to providing additional sessions that will be useful in your work with our participants. Thank you all so much, and thank you, Anne Marie.
Oh, you're very welcome, and take care, everyone. And if you celebrate the 4th of July, I wish you a happy 4th and safe 4th of July, and everyone have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time on Tech and Tell.